Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's DOYO Live Marketing Show. I've got a very special guest with me today from the Youngstown Business Incubator. The Director of Marketing and Communications, Corey Patrick, is joining us. We're super excited to have the YBI back as an in-kind sponsor for DOYO Live in 2018. And not only that, we will be hosting a 4-hour deep dive workshop on their campus, which is super exciting because of the fact that I had an office at the Youngstown Business Incubator for a few years. Jim Koster, the former CIO and now entrepreneur in residence, is a big reason why I moved back to Youngstown, Ohio, and have pursued a number of these entrepreneurial dreams. So, Corey, thank you so much for dropping by today. I really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I want to get into it. I want to talk a little bit about the YBI, some of the offerings and things that you guys do as a tech incubator. We want to get into some conversation about your digital marketing agency that you run. And then some other fun stuff like rapid fire questions at the end, which is always a really exciting thing on the DOYO Live Marketing Show. How's that sound?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So the first thing I want to do is build some context about you. I know that you're a Youngstown State University graduate, and also you've got some experience as a pizza delivery person.
I sure do. Yeah, I have a number of jobs. So I graduated from Cardinal Mooney in 2011, and I actually went away to school my first semester. I transferred back home because it just wasn't for me. So went to Youngstown State, actually started out in finance, and I wanted more. So I added a marketing second major. Then I added an entrepreneurship minor, and then I added a certificate in nonprofit. So I really got my time and money's worth out of my time at YSU. And while I was there, I had a couple internships, worked in the Small Business Development Center, worked in the Entrepreneurship Center. So I've been around small business and entrepreneurship pretty much my entire professional career. But when I was in college, something had to pay the bills. So I have been a pizza delivery boy for, it'll be 6 years on June 12th this year.
That is awesome. I mean, I've been a produce clerk, worked in a steel mill, worked on a golf course. So I get it. What are some of the things in pizza, right, that have, that you've learned from in your day-to-day and in everything about it, from marketing to operations to customer service, that has served you well along the way?
Gosh, well, you never know what you're going to get. You never know who is answering that door. And luckily for me, our regular customers I've gotten to know pretty well over the years. It's crazy because I have one, a customer in particular that I remember when their kids couldn't drive, and now they drive nicer cars than me. And I'm like, this is crazy. I watch these people grow up. So you never know what you're going to get. And that's kind of how it is here at the YBI. Every day is very different. We never know who's going to walk through the door with what type of business.
Right.
So that is probably my biggest takeaway. But, even too, it's all about having a consistent brand. My pizza job is with Pizza Hut. So it's a national brand with a huge following. And having that consistent messaging and having that brand that people recognize and people know, I mean, it's huge.
That's very interesting. So that's a nice segue. Let's talk a little bit about the Youngstown Business Incubator, and it's been around since 2001. And the one thing that I think you can never miss out on is an opportunity to tell your story. So tell us a little bit about the Youngstown Business Incubator and all the great things that are going on there.
Right. So the YBI has actually been around since the early 90s. But in 2001, we took the focus to be tech-based and focus on software. So what we do is we really focus on providing entrepreneurs with all of the resources that they need to get their business, really going, whether they've just have an idea or whether they've been at it for some time. We are here to really provide resources, make the introductions for potential investments, help you solidify that pitch deck. We have a 5-building campus in downtown Youngstown, so we're here for, when you grow to the point and you need office space, we've definitely got the space for entrepreneurs. So what we
recently expanded office space.
Yeah. We just finished the renovations to our 5th building this past December. So that was another 65,000 square feet that we added to this campus.
And it is an amazing building. You hosted a marketing panel discussion on digital strategy. It's probably only been about 3 weeks ago at the new building, which was really cool. It's the first time I had an opportunity to get in there.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous building. And for those that don't know, it's the former Vindicator headquarters. So we were fortunate enough to get that building because it's set up perfectly for what its use is. And that building is designed for our additive manufacturing companies or 3D printing companies. It's a perfect space for those types of companies, whether they're doing research, whether they're doing actual printing, or whether they're actually making a physical product or a printer. But the building is so cool because during the renovations, we were able to keep a lot of the original fixtures while adding that modern flair to it. So it is truly our crown jewel at this point.
Yeah, and you've got so many resources that are there that are planned and structured and things that people can tap into. But one of the things that I found, which was really amazing, was the serendipitous conversations that you have with other entrepreneurs in passing throughout the campus and in the buildings throughout the day. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we kind of pride ourselves on, keeping our people on campus. So we don't necessarily graduate any of our companies once they reach a certain point. We like to keep them on campus. And what it really does is it keeps that mix of experienced entrepreneurs with the new entrepreneurs, and having someone, on the floor right above you or in the office right next door you can go to and just ask a quick question, bounce some ideas off of each other, and even collaborate. We're seeing that a lot where our entrepreneurs on campus are using each other's products or using each other's software, or, making introductions, for each other. So having that mesh of people on campus, it's great for downtown, it's great for Youngstown, but it's also great for the companies that we're servicing right here.
Yeah, I mean, when you start out on that path, like a lot of people don't anticipate it. Like it takes so many things that come along with that. But then it becomes a very solo journey. And I think that the fact of the matter is that you have a cluster of businesses and people with that same spirit can help to offset. Maybe you might not be strong in finance or operations or marketing, and there's somebody else that always is.
Right. And one thing that people don't realize either, we're actually part of a larger network all throughout Northeast Ohio. So if we don't have, exactly what or who you need on campus, which we typically do, if by chance we don't, we have the connections all throughout Northeast Ohio, whether it's Akron, Cleveland, wherever it may be, we can find that person for you to get you the right help.
That's awesome. So I don't know how you feel about shout outs during Facebook Lives. I've heard various reviews, but anyway, Mr. Fajak, thank you for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Got to take you up on that live pretty soon. I want to get on your live. And Audra, thank you for dropping by as well. Really appreciate it. Dana Facillo as well, who, by the way, has an office in the building, a commercial tenant, and we'll be doing the 4-hour deep dive workshop on social media marketing, leveraging social media to grow your business at DOYO Live on August 1st, the optional 4-hour deep dive workshop, and it's going to be held in the Youngstown Business Incubator. So the other thing that I think is a nice segue is that you put on pretty much on a monthly basis, maybe even 2 times a month I've seen, where you've got social media strategy. You had the thought leadership panel last month. You've got a conversation coming up on Canva. Talk a little bit about some of those programs that you run and what you have coming up as well.
Right. So typically we call them our learning labs, and they used to be open, just to our portfolio companies. And it was a way to get them interacting with one another, but really to keep, new and interesting topics coming in. And recently what we've decided to do is just open it up to the public, and we're seeing a huge response from that. So what we have going on, coming up, we have a couple learning labs. One of them is on social media basics. I will be teaching that class, and that's on June 7th at 5:30. So that is really just to talk about, what social media platforms should you be using and why. And it's a very high level, very basic. It's a very good introductory class. And then the next one that I'll be doing is called Using Canva for Design. So for people that don't know, Canva is this great alternative for doing some design work. If you don't use the free version, it's very cheap. It's super easy to use. If you don't know Adobe, Canva is a great tool. I use Canva almost every day on campus, and some of our other employees use it too. So it's quick, it's easy, it's great, and it's free unless you decide to get the Canva for Business version. So I'll be doing a class on that on Wednesday, June 20th in the morning at 8:30. Really just to introduce it to people that don't have the graphic design skills, but probably need a quick logo or just need to create some consistent content. So I'll be doing a class on that. And then also coming up July 12th at 5:30, we have a learning lab on 3D printing. And it is just a 3D printing 101. So you've probably heard of it, but you don't know really what it does or what it can do. So our program manager for additive, Ashley Martoff, will be leading that class on July 12th.
That's awesome. And you know what? I'm not gonna just pull any punches. I am a design idiot. Like, I am design illiterate. And so if I showed you the things that I pieced together to put out some things where I can't just go to my graphic designer for every little thing. You got to be somewhat self-sufficient in this day and age when you're pushing content so frequently. I am screenshotting, putting stuff on PowerPoints, and I'm downloading and uploading. And Canva is a huge time saver. And that's actually something that I've dabbled with before. And then I just get frustrated and I start pounding it. And I know that it's easy, but I'm a slow learner.
Yeah. And you know what? Everybody learns differently. But for me, you know, I had an intro class for Adobe when I was in school with Michael Ponticus. And I learned a lot in class, and I haven't really touched it since then. And I forgot like most of it. So having Canva for me, especially here at the YBI, because I'm a one-person marketing department. So having it like that is crucial on my end.
Yeah, most people are these days too. Like, they're bandwidth strapped, especially in a small business, that you're going to have to wear multiple hats. You have to write, create the content, come up with the creative ideas, and put some creative stuff behind it as well. So it's such a good point. And Mr. Ponticus has been a 3-year contributor now to the DOYO Live Advisory Board, which is very cool. I know that he has been able to have an influence on a number of, obviously, students coming out of Youngstown State University's marketing and even communications program as well. So we wanted to talk a little bit about your digital marketing agency. Yes. You have a marketing agency that you work with businesses both from a consultancy perspective and manage some of the day-to-day strategy as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it started because of a board position that I have. And I was doing a lot of the marketing for it. And I said, you know, I have some free time, not much, but I might as well capitalize on it, you know, while I can. So I started a company called Cubed Digital, and I named it after my car. I drive a Nissan Cube. My license plate is Cubed. So I figured, why not go the whole guerrilla marketing route and name it after the car? People will know it's already established.
Right.
So there's not a lot of cubes around, and mine definitely stands out. So started a business after it. And really what I do with that is more of just, you know, on the consulting end, you know, this is what I'm doing, kind of implement some strategy. And then I manage a few channels, come up with some content, you know, just keeping people's social media fresh, keeping it live, keeping it active, and really just, you know, getting it out there to the point where they're good, you know, keeping that voice out there, keeping it active. So that's what I do. And I like what I do. I love my clients that I have. One of my clients is the Walnut Grove. So I sit on the board of directors for the Walnut Grove, and I do a lot of our marketing for that because we are a working board. So, you know, if you'll see anything on Facebook about our grand opening, which is tomorrow, that is, you know, all something that I get to do in my spare time, and I love it. So
give us all just the overview of the Walnut Grove. We did a Facebook Live with them. Like, I think you probably filled out the form when we were, you know, we had opened it up to submissions to be on the Facebook Live show. So we actually went out there and we did live from there. But tell the people today what the Walnut Grove is and does, and what they can expect.
So the Walnut Grove is a special needs inclusive playground and hiking project, or hiking trails project, that is built, and we're having our grand opening. It's on Columbiana Canfield Road in Canfield. So it is a playground. It is hiking and biking trails. And that's just the first phase of the project. There's plans for miracle fields. There's plans for an indoor recreational facility. The entire property is inclusive and accessible to individuals with special needs. So there's 20 acres of land. The playground itself is 1 acre. So it is a huge project. There's a lot of equipment. It looks absolutely awesome. Even if you guys just drive by, take a look at it. It looks really, really cool. So
take a picture of it for Corey and put it on your Instagram and tag him, like help him spread the word. That's like, you're all doing like micro marketing.
Yep. It is a really cool project. We're very proud of how far it's come. So we're having our grand opening tomorrow. We have a ribbon cutting with our special donors at 1:00. And then we're having an extra special ribbon cutting for the children that are in attendance at 2:00. So 2:00, it is going to be open to the public, ready to use. Very cool. Very, very cool project.
Awesome. Good for you, Corey. That's awesome stuff. So one of the things that I get to do sitting in my seat, and I get to interview a lot of really smart people in marketing, and I have that luxury. We go out and we interview business owners, and a lot of times they'll ask my consultation on air, which I love. But since I have marketing expertise on the other side here, I typically will ask and put people on the spot to say, if you're familiar with the DOYO Live platform and what we do from a content strategy in email and social media, what would be one or two recommendations that you have for me as the way that we approach our marketing with DOYO Live?
So oh man, really put me up. I get every bit of it. I actually, one of the things that I do that some people don't is I actually get notified when people are posting stuff. And okay. I don't do it for everyone, but it's a lot of certain channels. And I don't think people really capitalize on promoting that and pushing that and having that maybe a couple of times from your end. But, even just once or twice, like there's a lot of really great content coming out of your page. Just the vast majority of different people with different backgrounds, especially the people in marketing. There's so much that anyone can really learn from it. So kind of pushing that and being like, are you getting notified when we're doing it? Or are you just seeing what people are sharing? So I think having that opportunity is really cool.
That's a good point. I pay attention to my kids when they're watching these YouTube channels that grow these massive followings, and every one of them is like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And, the same thing with this here, hit the button and get notified when we have a post, because then we'll be elevated. So I appreciate that feedback. And that's a good one. All right. So here's the second most controversial thing we'll talk about today. Rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
You love your watch, by the way?
I don't.
You don't?
Don't know. I think this is the first day I've worn it in probably 4 months.
I got a watch to get away. I got the watch and I went out running, and then I was getting text messages. I was like, I brought my problems with me. So right.
Yeah, I bought it because I just had to have it, and I don't even use it.
Okay. What's on your desk?
What is on my desk? Well, this is not my desk, but on my desk is some pictures, some books, and a lamp, and my phone.
All right. How about your computer home screen?
My computer home screen, it has 6 photos. I'm using my brand new computer that I bought, and there's 6 photos on my home screen that I took, and that is it. I like a clean screen.
All right. So you got a favorite marketing talking head that you follow?
I don't. I don't have one that I follow consistently. I kind of just take it in from everywhere.
All right. Best Throwback Thursday idea?
Ooh, Throwback Thursday. I like to look at my Throwback Thursdays from my first semester of college.
Ah, cool.
First semester of college, I was like 60 pounds heavier, and I was a total nerd. And those are my favorites because I'm like, wow, I really came a long way.
Good for you, man. Well, this is kind of a setup, but to see how much of a corporate guy you are. Best pizza in Youngstown?
Elton.
That's great.
Not
my kid had a Little League game last night against the Elton, and I was like, that's the team that I want to be sponsored by. Right?
Yeah.
Last good book you read?
Oh, God. I can't tell you the last time I read a book.
That's a pass. All right.
That's
you're around a lot of really brilliant minds at the YBI, and you're giving advice as well. The last great best piece of business advice you either get or you give?
Ooh, just do it. Pretty much take that leap of faith. That's what I did with my company. Is I just did it, and don't forget to ask for help along the way because you probably need it.
That's awesome advice, Corey. I appreciate that. And it is right. You got to execute and you just got to go for it. You can only research so much and try and mitigate all the risk. But at the end of the day, you got to go do it. Corey Patrick, the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Youngstown Business Incubator, a in-kind sponsor for DOYO Live, and also a location for us. So we'll be at the DOYO. That's the central hub for the main event on August 2nd. But on August 1st, we're doing our deep dive workshops. We'll have one at the Youngstown Business Incubator with Deanna Facillo talking about leveraging social media in your business. And then the other deep dive workshop, the other 4-hour deep dive workshop is going to be by TBG Digital. It's B2B marketing for manufacturers, and it's going to be at the Tyler Museum of History. So we've got the main hub, and now we're really doing Youngstown because we're incorporating infrastructure, and I've always wanted to do that. It makes our life a little bit more logistically challenged, but I think it's fun, right? Get people out and about in the downtown. Tickets are on sale right now for $225. There are promo codes if you subscribe to our email list at doyolive.com. Otherwise, you could use DOYO 2018 and you'll save yourself $10. We've sold 100 tickets. We've sold out in our first 2 years. And by comparison, last year, this date, we sold 60 tickets. So we're pretty far ahead, but you never know. So anyway, get your tickets. Anyway, thank you, Corey, so much for dropping by today. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. We're going to post this back up with the show notes. And thank you, everybody, for dropping by. Everybody have a great week. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks.
See you, Corey.
Take care.